Welcome to St. Augustine this evening, the Mike Davis Show. We've got some great guests for you tonight, some repeat guests, a brand new guest for breaking in. So we're going to be really nice to him. But before we get to all of our guests, Amanda and I are going to do a couple of quick reads. We're going to pay the bills on this show, and then we're going to have a lot of fun. We're glad to have you guys with us this afternoon. Powell Heating and Air Conditioning. They've been in business for over 40 years here in St. Augustine. They're open 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, including nights, weekends, and holidays. They're locally owned. They're a great company. They've got a fleet of over 10 trucks and a 15,000 square foot warehouse stocked with all kinds of parts and equipment. They service all heating and air conditioning brands. They're a wonderful company. Their number is 904-794-2665. Call Powell Heating and Air Conditioning. Listen, you need somebody in St. Augustine that can handle both the heating and the cooling, because I know it's been cold this winter, but it is going to get hot this summer, and you're going to need those guys. Get them to come out and check out your AC unit. Get on a maintenance plan with Powell Heating and Air.
Absolutely. Solar Stick, established in 2006, Solar Stick is a local portable power company proudly committed to American manufacturing, constant innovation, and creating jobs right here in St. Augustine, Florida. Solar Stick's focus on providing solutions for self-sufficiency helps users all over the world complete missions and save lives. Solar Stick, changing lives, saving lives, and reviving American manufacturing. Now, if you don't have dinner plans yet, check out the Tringali family of restaurants. You can have pizza at Carmelo's Pizzeria, voted best pizza 9 years in a row. They've got New York-style brick oven pizza. They also have salads, subs, wings, and more. Or if you're feeling a little more carnivorous, try 123 Burger House. They were voted best burger 3 years running. Also have chicken wing salad. They also have that wood-fired pizza and ice cream for dessert. Both restaurants have dine-in, takeout, and delivery through Bite Squad and Grubhub. Join the Tringali family for dinner tonight.
Before I do my next read, I see Barbara Jean's watching. Barbara Jean, we're having a moment of silence for Kirk Cousins. We know that he has left the Minnesota Vikings and he's headed to the Atlanta Falcons. So we're just all sorry, Barbara Jean. We hope that you guys get an amazing quarterback at the Vikings. But my son came in and told me that an hour ago, and I shed one small tear just for you, Barbara Jean. All right, Solomon Services, the premier place for personal training in St. Augustine. They specialize in both youth and adult training classes. They've got small group strength and fitness development classes. They've got a brand new state-of-the-art indoor center and with indoor and outdoor turf areas. All of their coaches are certified through the National Strength and Conditioning Association. Give them a call, 904-461-9945, or visit their website, solomonservices.com. Sign up today. It's a great place to work out. I'll be there in the morning. Looking forward to it. It helps keep me in shape for all of my surf trips, which lets Amanda run the show and do a great job.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a return guest.
We do.
Leo, welcome back. Task Force Hydro 1, it is nice to have you back in the studio with us.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, for us to be here today.
Well, we are glad to have, and you brought a rookie with you.
Right.
And I am so glad. Enrique is with us, Melendez. Welcome, Enrique. This is your 17th podcast you've done?
Number one, yes. Close enough.
Close enough. You're gonna do great. We're gonna have a lot of fun. It's like I said, Leo survived it. You're gonna be wonderful. So Leo actually wanted to come back, which was awesome.
Yeah, he's the one who's saying, "Hey, let's go back there, man." Yeah. So I was like, "Okay, I'll give it a shot." I told him I don't know what to do with my hands, so but apparently, Amanda gave me a good trick. So.
As long as you don't strangle me, we're good. We're fine.
But all kidding aside, Mike, Amanda, appreciate you guys hosting us today.
Listen, we love letting people know what you guys are up to, because I'm fully behind and support what you're trying to do with veterans and first responders. And getting them connected to groups and also getting them out there surfing. In fact, I love your shirt. You got the best shirt. This is my favorite weekend shirt that I have.
I heard that you were going to wear it, so I was like, I got to imitate Mike. I mean, I started with that. I almost cut my hair, too, today.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Listen, I'm getting grief at home about my hair being too long right now. My wife's like, you got to go back to the short haircut. So tell me about you. Where are you from? How'd you get here in St. Augustine, Jacksonville area, and get a little bit of your history?
Okay. So obviously I'm Puerto Rican. My dad was in the military. I was born actually in Fort Dix, New Jersey.
Okay.
So growing up in the military environment, as I moved along, kind of naturally progressed in that direction. Went to University of Florida, graduated in 1994, and then I joined the military. Was lucky enough to spend some time in some great organizations. To include 75th Ranger Regiment, Asymmetric Warfare Group, and also I was lucky enough to command the Golden Knights. So I've had some pretty interesting times in the military.
And the Golden Knights, that's the aerobatic team that
Yes,
drops
that's
in.
yes, the parachute, demonstration team,
Yeah.
correct. Yes.
So in the Rangers, how did you get into the Golden Knights from the Rangers?
Well, so in the military, you kind of, as you progress in rank, they move you around to different locations, for different jobs, and depending on where the Army decides that they need you to go. For example, when I was up for commanding a battalion, because of my background, being Halo qualified, being Ranger qualified, coming from the 75th Ranger Regiment, those things kind of helped me to be selected to be the commander for the Golden Knights. Took the opportunity. I loved it. Had a great time.
What's the coolest stadium you dropped in on, or ball field, or event?
Well, so I can't fake that I was actually a demonstrator because I was not.
Yep.
I was. Those guys are phenomenal. They train so much. They have, in one training session alone, they'll do, meaning for like a couple of months, they'll do 300 or 400 jumps, just training a little bit. They got thousands and thousands of jumps. And we have a very rigorous, well, they have, because I'm not there anymore, they have very rigorous training, assessment and selection training. In fact, just to go to the Golden Knights to try out, you got to have, and I think it's changed a little bit now, but back when I was there, it was 500 jumps at a minimum, halo jumps. And then from there, then you have to go through the process of learning how to do all kinds of different maneuvers, being able to fly, really close to other people, what they call crew, do free flying, which is another type of skydiving where they're flying with their heads down, they're sit flying, doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
And the HALO stands for, is it high altitude?
High altitude, low opening, yes.
Okay.
That's what it stands for, yes.
Amanda would love to do that.
I have always wanted to skydive, and then I had kids, and I was like, maybe I'll wait until I'm older. I really wanted to get a skydive in before I had kids.
It is a great experience.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's very unique. And, you have I don't want to say it this way, but you have a better chance of getting hit by a car than you do getting into an accident skydiving.
Yeah.
Although, with that said,
I know, we all drove here today. We completely agree with you.
let's knock on wood, even though there's glass. But so that's basically it. My my career in a nutshell.
So what was the highest rank you got?
Lieutenant Colonel.
Lieutenant Colonel.
Yes.
Yep, that's awesome. And your dad, what was?
Yeah, he retired as a first sergeant.
Okay.
He had 2 tours in Vietnam. He's a badass. He's a old school first sergeant in the infantry.
So he knew where you were at all times of the day.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yes, as far as you're willing to still admit today.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when he would
Statute of limitations does not run out in your house.
a few times he let me borrow the car, and then when I come back in the morning, the way he would question me, I just knew he had the answer. So I was like, all right, Dad, here we go,
Yeah, we had a son one time who said he was going somewhere, and he went to a subdivision where they don't like you to park on the street, so they left a note on the front of his car. And it wasn't the subdivision you're supposed to be in. He drives home with the note on the car, doesn't notice it on the car, parks the car. We go out, see it, and we're like, we're not going to ever tell him how we knew what subdivision he was in. It was years later. He's like, you got to tell me how you figured that out that night. It's like, dummy, you drove home with the note on the car.
The best.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, no. Where did you mostly grow up? I'm Army bases all over, but what?
Yes. So Fort Dix, Fort Hood, Fort Knox. No, not Fort Knox. I'm sorry. Fort Campbell, Fort Buchanan in Puerto Rico. So, and then myself being in the military, spend a lot of time in Fort Benning. That's where that's where the regimental headquarters is located, and 3rd Ranger Battalion. I also spent a lot of time in Fort Bragg, and in Maryland. Oh, and then my first assignment was Vicenza, Italy.
Okay.
3 years in the airborne unit there, so I could not complain at all.
So did you catch any of the deployments after 9/11?
Oh my God, yes.
Okay.
I mean, in fact, the very first jump of the 75th Ranger Regiment into Afghanistan, I was involved.
Awesome.
Yes, that was my first taste of combat. Then got it about 11, 12, 13 more times.
And then that's one of the things, Leo and I have talked about this before, is just the amount of deployments that you guys are going through now. and the service members are. It's just it's amazing the rotation that they have them on, and it's a very, I think it's more difficult than it's ever been because of that. And I just applaud you guys for sticking in and serving as long as you do, and it's going overseas as often as you do. So thank you.
Oh, appreciate it. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you very, very much. So, yeah, you guys are. Any good stories about that places in Afghanistan you want to share with us?
We don't have enough time for
So how'd you end up in St. Augustine?
So once I retired from the military, I actually went and worked for the Department of the Army as a GS for a while, and then became a contractor. But living in Maryland, my daughter, when she graduated high school, and not because I went to UF, so this is a disclaimer, not because I brought her down to, every year to a football game, she decided that she wanted to come to University of Florida.
Yeah.
So she moved down to University of Florida by herself, and we stayed in Maryland. But after about 2 years, me and my wife are like, it's actually an interesting story because we are actually at a pub, having a few beers. And
most good ideas come from a pub.
Oh yeah. Well,
I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there that disagree, but no.
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great.
You gotta have some place to think.
Absolutely. That's where we go when we want to have some good thoughts behind, our ideas. But and we had just decided that we were going to remain in Maryland, even though we didn't like it. We don't like the cold. It just didn't feel like us.
Yeah.
And right at that moment, my wife gets an email from United Way here in Jacksonville,
Okay.
offering her to come down and interview. And right as we had decided we were going to stay, all of a sudden, we have this opportunity. We're looking where our daughter is in Gainesville. Two of our best friends, who actually one of them, Jason Hamner, I knew him since I was a young captain in the Ranger Regiment. He moved here, so we used to come and visit him. So as we came down to visit more and more, we're like, you know what? We kind of like this place. And then when Rosie got offered that opportunity down here, we said, we're moving. So we didn't hesitate. We packed everything up, moved down here. Yeah. And now we're here. Our daughter graduated, and now she's getting ready to get married. She, has a fiance, great guy. So everything's working out.
God usually isn't that like right up front. With you guys, hey, we're staying. Click.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about something that's meant to be, yes. it was incredible. Yeah. It was incredible. So we were like, well, we got to pick this up. I mean.
Yeah, and how do you like the area?
Oh, we love it. Yeah, we love it here. We're chilled. We live. We just learned the difference between if you live east of the bridge or west of the bridge, to the beach, and we're west of the bridge. We're not, we're not cool, I guess. But we love the house that we are at, and we definitely knew that was going to be our final home. Yeah. So we're here to stay.
So when did you pick up surfing, paddleboard? When did you pick up all that?
So I started surfing. I went to high school in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
So I started surfing when I was in high school in Puerto Rico, but I took a long break. I'm talking about over 20-something years. Because being in the military, was not able just to get enough time to go somewhere and surf.
Yeah, they're even worse than parents and high school teachers about, you can go surfing.
Yeah.
I mean, they really don't like the waves are up. Can we go, instead of doing PT, can we go surf for 3 hours?
I think that
if I would have been about that.
I think if I would have been stationed in Hawaii,
yes,
I would have kept surfing, but unfortunately, I couldn't. So it wasn't until I retired and I went back to Puerto Rico to visit some of my really good friends that are still surfing, and they kind of got me back into it a little bit.
Yeah. And
then I come here to the state, to Jacksonville, and somebody told me, check out Poles. It's a good place to go surfing. Well, but I'm like, for somebody like me who's just, basically starting over again, learning. They're like, no, just go. And I went, and I'm sitting down by myself, and that's when Ricky walks up. And this is how kind of the story goes along on how Task Force Hydro 1 really got it started. It was with Leo, with Ricky, and Josh Rubin, who these two, Ricky and Leo, started surfing together, and they started to realize, you know what? This actually helps. And Ricky even took it a step further because he was like, last time I was stationed in Hawaii, and
Japan.
Like, in Japan, yes, it was Japan, and he started surfing again. He's like, makes a world of a difference. So then he hits up Leo, and Leo's like, yeah, it's true. I'm starting to surf now, and I'm finding it makes a world of a difference. It's water saves lives. So that's how they got started. Ricky, in the meantime, somewhere along the lines, Ricky looks at me, and I look at him, and, one can tell each other from, like, where are you from? So, we're starting doing the sniffing and, the name dropping and quickly realized that we had a lot of friends in common, quickly realized that we come from the same community. So from there, he was like, he welcomed me into the chat that they had at that point. It wasn't Task Force Hydro 1. It's actually called DMC, Dirty Maple Crew. Okay. A bunch of old people like me there, and but everybody was so welcoming, so great. And from there, that's where Ricky and Leo decided to, let's take this a step further, because we know that a lot of military people get out of the military and they find themselves in a situation, which I found myself too. You go into, this is the first time that I PCS or that I moved from a location where I don't have instant friends. I didn't have an instant community to go to. Yep. I didn't have a purpose. So that hit me hard. Meeting Ricky, meeting Leo, they kind of alleviated some of that pain. And then when they started Task Force Hydro 1, that's what did it. So for me, that's how I kind of got involved in it. And understanding that, I was going through the struggles that we see a lot of people go through.
Hang on one second. Are we good? I know
we are on. The internet keeps glitching.
Okay.
And so Facebook keeps cutting in and out, but it's recording. So I'll upload the full thing later so that it's complete.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure we didn't need to start back over. We're good. And you didn't throw anything at me, so I figured we would. Okay. Sorry. Enrique.
Okay. No problem. No problem.
Yeah. So that whole sense of community, what you were missing after having left the military, right, you get back with Ricky and Leo and the guys.
Yeah, because, and think about it. What happens with military personnel, they leave an organization, or they retire. Now they don't have those instant, like I said, instant friends. They don't have that instant community. And then, all of a sudden they find themselves in a place where they got to start from scratch. They got to find a job. They got to find friends. So it's daunting. And then you're used to certain discipline. You're used to certain lifestyle, structure. Yes, thank you so much. Yeah. You're looking for, some structure, and then you don't find it. So it can take you down a dark hole quickly, fast. And then what makes it even worse is that we all think that we're alone, in the sense of, no, it's not happening to anybody else. Yeah. When in reality it is. It's happening to a lot of people. So that's why we are here. That's why Task Force Hydro 1 exists. It is to make sure that, we welcome those veterans, first responders, and even people that are active duty right now, because they still struggle. So we want them to know that they have a sanctuary, that they have a community in us.
Well, I think the great thing about your organization is it's all people that have been where they are, right? Have been in that place in your life, and you're able to meet and talk about that together. Because if somebody's a veteran and comes and thought, I haven't experienced what you guys have gone through. I haven't been deployed. I haven't been through the training. I haven't done all that. And so me trying to help them, I'm just lost trying to do that. But you guys have that ability to say, no, I've been here. This is what I've done. I've lived your life too. And I understand what you're feeling. And I think that is so important to people, right? To find that kind of community of, yes, you get this.
No, absolutely. And that's why we pride ourselves. And that was one of the things that I think are very unique from us. Because there are a lot of great organizations out there that are doing a lot of great things for our veterans. Yeah. And they're focused on making a better life for them. So we're not unique when it comes to that. But where I think we're unique is, one is how we treat our family, our members. I mean, it is a true ohana, which makes a world of a difference. And we're not pressuring anybody. Nobody, all you got to do, the only requirement for somebody is to come out and enjoy the vitamin D. That's it. I mean, you know how many times we've had people come out, they think that they're by themselves first. Then they start realizing, wait a minute, there are people out there that are just like me. And that includes the smack talking as a military person, giving Air Force hard time, you know how we all are.
Is that really a branch of the service? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I thought it was a corporation.
Bobby's already.
I'm not sure
Bobby's
about that.
already given a go Air Force.
I know. I got it, Bobby, Colonel Bill
sorry.
Dudley.
Sorry, Bobby.
I'm just kidding.
Alright.
We love you guys.
I have actually met Bobby at the pier.
Yes.
He's there. I see here. I think I think it's his daughter.
Yep. His
Yep.
daughter Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Bobby's great. Lieutenant Colonel Bill Dudley, who is the coordinator for Veterans Affairs here. He's the head of the Veterans Council here in St. Johns County. And as an Air Force colonel, he's also the head of the Navy League. Does a phenomenal job here in St. Johns County. We're going to have 5 veterans do the job that he does whenever he finally retires for the last time. I mean, he's just an awesome individual. So, and we get that. I'm on the board for Home Again St. John's. We've just, through a state grant, purchased a hotel over on the island that has 20 rooms. So we should bet and it's just 100% veteran housing. So it's for homeless vets and vets that are having a hard time and being able to find some housing and a place for them. So that should be up and operational in the next 30 days. And we're very, very excited about that. And that's through a partnership of Bill Dudley coming and talking on this show and me knowing him for a long time and listening to him talk about how much the vets were doing to help homeless vets and saying, okay, well, let's get you on our board and figure this out. And we don't need somebody that served overseas and risked their lives for us living in the woods. We can fix that. So let's get that resolved.
So
And
you know, one of the things that we keep talking about that we would love to do is, I had the benefit when I had my really bad military freefall accident to go. It used to be called API, now it's called XOs. It is it's here in Florida. Actually, they have Arizona, Florida. They have several locations, and now they have contracts with special operations like the Rangers, SF, Delta. You know, where they're the ones who do the physical therapy for them. They're the ones who train them and all that stuff. They're the ones who train professional athletes to recover. They're in Pensacola, but what I learned from them was, I had 2 physical therapists on me 24/7.
Yep.
I had a person that used to cook my meals. I had a person that was, kind of doing, counseling with me to make sure that, my headspace and timing was not that off. So what I learned was they had all these people focused on one person. And what we would love to see if we could eventually get to this point is having that mentality as, having a group of nonprofits that all they do is help the veterans. And what I mean by that is this. Like, for example, we've been talking to Here Tomorrow, great organization, nonprofit. They're not just military, but they have a military branch too. There's 5-star vets,
wonderful organization.
Great organization. Yep. I mean, they're unbelievable. Helping people get vocational training, giving them a place to stay until they're on their feet. I mean, that's incredible. So imagine if we treated our veterans and those that are in need of help the way we treat professional athletes when they're recovering from the accidents. I mean, that would be insane. We walk into a meeting and I bring up 2 names of 2, members of Task Force Hydro 1 that I know that we have done all we can for them, because we're not counselors. Our healing is done through the water, with our water sports. So, but if this person needs, maybe he's, hopefully not, but if he's homeless, right then and there, we're like, hey, 5-star tomorrow. 5-star vet, sorry, 5-star vet. Do you have a space for this gentleman? This is what he's struggling through. Or here's what she's struggling with. Can you help? Here Tomorrow, can you provide counseling? Because this person right now doesn't feel like she can get counseling, medically, because she doesn't have money or whatever the case may be, or they just don't want to go. So we don't force them, but when they start opening up, Here Tomorrow, we have done this, where Here Tomorrow comes to our events, just hang. And then all of a sudden, one person starts talking with somebody. Yeah. Next thing you know, you're opening up the door for that person to heal better. Just like Here Tomorrow, when we had a paddling event, they brought, some of their members, they brought some of their employees also, but one of their members had been shut off pretty much, not talking to anybody, not doing anything. And by the time we left that day, he actually opened up a little bit. He was talking, and he was willing to come out to some of our events. Because now he's opening up. Okay, it's not daunting to go out there. Not everybody is out looking at me like I'm a weirdo. In fact, they're all welcoming. They're opening their arms. That's what we want to get to. And if we could get that, that would be amazing for the veterans.
Well, and I think so much of that is just knowing what the connection is. And sometimes if there's a barrier or there's been a mismeaning or something, just being able to call whoever the person is in that organization saying, hey,
absolutely,
I'm bringing you this person, or they're coming here. This is what their issues are, and this is what we need you to pay attention to when they show up. And I think that little bit of help sometimes just starts that ball rolling downhill, right? It's just a huge part of that. So,
I mean, and that's our mentality. And in fact, it shows in our name. Mm-hmm. That's what we're called, Task Force Hydro One. In the military, a task force are different units that come together that are not necessarily in the same umbrella or organization. Mm-hmm. They don't fall under, like, I don't know, 82nd Division, or they're just organizations that they all bring a specialty to the table, that when you bring them together for a mission, you can accomplish that mission. Mm-hmm. So for us, our mission is to take care of our veterans, provide them a community where they feel open, where they can come and they can be themselves, and they can have their friendships, and they can live a normal life. Mm-hmm. So that's our task force. But our task force is going to need other people. So if anybody's out there listening, we would take all the help that we can to help our veterans.
Mm-hmm. And Amanda's got all that information up. Before we get to events, what board are you riding? Please tell me it's not a SUP.
No, it's a Tomo.
Oh, okay.
Firewire Tomo.
Tell me it's not a stand-up paddle board.
No, actually, I mean, it's not like some of my other friends, that surf like miniature boards. Mm-hmm. They're surfing 5'6", 5'7" boards.
I can't do that.
No, mine is the 6'1". So
yeah, I'm in the 6'6" range with you. I'm right there with you. I can't do the ones that don't float. So yeah, Leo, what are you still riding?
Longboard. That's my go-to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have explored. I have tried to go to the shorter board, but I'm just too lazy for it.
Yeah,
I'd rather just get on my longboard, paddle, and even when anytime whenever we get overhead waves, and I see some of the guys asking me, what is he doing out there? But somehow I have learned my way to get myself past through the break and just make it out there.
Yeah,
I love Leo because he surfs backside.
Okay.
A lot better than he surfs frontside, which is weird. Mm-hmm. But he jokes because he says he can only go right. So I'm like, I'm gonna start calling you Zoolander. You can only go right,
Well, we go like, so we talked before the show about going to Costa Rica. One of the spots we go, the majority of the time the waves are lefts. So you could go down there for 7 days, and at the end of 7 days, my buddy will go, well, what was your best wave? I said, well, I had 3 rights, so one of those had to be in the list, but the rest of them were all lefts. And people are like, how'd you get so good at backside? I said, well, you go on a surf trip to Costa Rica and go to the spot where it's all lefts, and you'll get really good at left, right? Yeah. Trust me.
I'm actually going to Nika in April.
And where are you going?
I don't know where I'm going. I'm going with a buddy of mine, Chris. He actually just bought property. Mm-hmm. I've never been to Nika before.
Okay.
So there's like 4 or 5 of us going, and one of my good friends, name's Roy, great surfer. Mm-hmm. He went last year, and this year he was like, I don't know, man, maybe a little too big. And if he says that, I'm like, okay, I have no business, So I told Chris that, hey, man, when we go, I'm gonna be probably in the secondary lineup, the way down there where
it all kind of depends. So I've been lucky to go to Nicaragua twice in the last 3 years, and the first year we went, it was all shorter period swell, A-frames, really, really fun, good size. Second time it was a long period swell. And the way the direction hit, the beach that we had surfed before was all closeouts. You could not find a wave that wouldn't close out. So we were up the beach at Panga Drops, which is a much bigger wave, and it's up against a cliff wall. So there's a lot of water moving, right? So the swell comes in out of the south, hits off the cliff wall, refracts back into the next set of waves that are coming in. So you'll be paddling for what you think is a peak that's a right, and it turns into a left, or a left that turns into a right. I mean, you really just... I got in the biggest barrel of my life. I sat for 40 minutes trying to come in last year, and finally caught a wave. One of those waves is you're dropping and you don't ever think you're going to get to the bottom of it. And it hit the inside. It kind of had a little wiggle and a turn to it. And the next thing I know, I'm just standing up inside this dry tube. And I was like, okay. And I knew I'd make it out because I saw how long it was. I knew how much speed I had. I come flying out. I'm like, man, I wish somebody had seen that. And I walk up the beach, and one of my buddies is at the house we're staying at. Said I saw the whole thing. It's like, okay, then it actually did happen. It actually happened.
It's good. Yeah, you got always
Yeah.
always got to have somebody's side, right?
Yeah, I saw that. It's like, yeah, no, that was so it's you'll have a lot of fun. There's a lot of different breaks to go to. The people are absolutely wonderful there.
That's what
I mean,
The
they're
food
just
is incredible.
I put them on the same kind of par as the Costa Rican people. The food is absolutely phenomenal as well. Just some amazing folks down there. So you're gonna have a really, really good time, and you'll be surprised how. I mean, and if it was just like this way, when you went to Costa Rica and surfed it, but it's almost like a UN, right? You never know who you're paddling up next to. I mean, there's Brazilians and Europeans. There's people from all over the states that are down there. I mean, it's just, you never know who you're going to be surfing next to, which is one of the coolest things about surfing. And then you start talking to them. Where are you from? I'm from New Hampshire. Well, what's it like surfing in New Hampshire? Well, it's really cold, right? Or, I surfed next to a guy from Israel the last time I was down there. I mean, it's just really neat, the different places. And then the locals are their own, kind of talking to those guys and getting their vibe. But there's some really just fun ones out there that they'll talk to you and let you know about surf. So it's fun.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, really, really neat thing. You guys have some events coming up.
Yes.
The luau, which we have been talking about, and I heard Amanda was really well behaved at the luau last year. Is that true? Is that just a rumor that she's telling me, or was she well behaved?
Well, so the story about that is, and that was a briefing, that she was well behaved.
Okay.
No pictures, no videos, but
There's
it
a
was all
reason why
good.
there's no pictures and no videos.
What happens at the luau stays at the luau.
Of course.
Just like surfing.
Yes.
If nobody saw it and there's no video, it didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
And if there's a video, nowadays you can edit videos, so you can cut
Yes.
the things that you don't want to show, But overall, from last year, what we learned from the luau, it was just the amount of support that we got. For one,
Yep.
we had way more people than we were expecting. And to this year we moved the location, which is going to be over at the
Armory.
the National Guard Armory over in San Marco,
Yes.
and it's open to the community. It's going to be on May 11th,
Awesome.
and it's just so the luau is going to be a form of celebration from the paddle that we're doing from St. Augustine to Jacksonville on May 10th, and it's a combination of all. We're gonna have we're looking to have 4 outriggers out there. So it's going to be about 36 plus paddlers, 3 support boats, and it's going to take us about, we're looking at 7 hours. Last year, our projection was, we fit in the water was 6 a.m. and we were planning to pull back in by 4 p.m. However, people was excited. We were moving. At some point, every now and then, we had to tell the crews, hey, slow down, because we're moving too fast. And we pulled in around 1:37 p.m.
Okay. So way ahead of schedule.
Correct.
Were you paddling?
No, it was not.
Are you going to paddle this year?
No, I'm not.
Okay, I respect you even more. Leo and Enrique and these guys are crazy going out there.
Yeah,
paddling.
no, I'm actually the one behind the scenes.
Okay.
Right.
Kind of working things to make sure that everything goes out.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, we flip the boat. We all go around. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm out when you're flipping the boat, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I've done it only a couple of times. And, I'm the master at the hoolies.
Yeah.
I'm flipping over. I mean, you're bad when you have somebody who used to paddle dragon boats, right?
Right. She was a U.S.
She was
team.
a U.S. team dragon boat coach and trainer or something,
Right.
And she took me for the first time paddling, and I was able to flip the boat with her. I mean, that's an incredible feat. I was like, I'm so good that I made her flip.
Yes.
I was like, I don't need to do this anymore.
No.
You know.
It was overall really last year. Which beautiful event. We faced some challenges throughout, but we overcame with all that, and just like everything else, this year we wanted to do it bigger, in a way where we brought people from different clubs. We got people coming from Alabama. There's some people coming from Cocoa Beach and different areas, and they're all all about the mission, and it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be very nice.
And you guys are first and third Saturdays,
Correct.
still at St. Augustine's the first.
No,
Right.
so
Yeah,
so over the walkovers
Yep.
on the first Saturday of the month,
In Volana.
it's surfing.
Okay.
We also do the third Saturday of the month.
Mm-hmm.
We do it up in Dolphin Plaza in Hannah Park.
Okay.
Rain, snow, shine. Even if it snows, yes, I said that. Even if it snows. So you know, we've had occasions where we'll show up and it is storming outside. Winds 30 knots and plus. The waves are not. It's just a washing machine in there, and yet we still get people to come out and hang out under the tent. You know, all huddled together because it's just about that camaraderie.
I think that when that happens, it almost kind of makes it a cooler event because people can't kind of like stay away. You got to get under the tent together. When you got to get under the tent, you got to start talking to the person standing next to you because that's just the way life is, right? You're in proximity with somebody else.
And where I see the biggest difference in this organization is, you know, a lot of organizations they got a couple of people that are tied together. And then everybody else is just really an outsider, kind of looking in and just participating whenever they have an opportunity. Not here, honestly. If I were to show you, we have several different chats on WhatsApp, and you know we're talking about in one of them over 100 people. You know, and then majority of them they're always talking, they're always helping each other out. I mean, it is not surprising at all if somebody says, "Hey, I'm getting ready to move. Anybody help?" There is an abundance of people helping that person. When somebody gets, you know, we've had some very unfortunate things happen to us the last, you know, maybe 6 months, and all of that, we have, you know, we are right there with that person that's going through the struggles with the family, and we're helping each other out.
Because you had a big loss a couple months ago, right, in the fall. One of the Afghan interpreters that had come home.
Yes, Eiffel, one of our dearest friends. I mean, an unbelievable person. And I'm not saying this because, you know, unfortunately he you know he's up in heaven now. You know, he's having a good time looking at us down here. But the reality was that he made a world of a difference to our organization and brought a perspective of life to a lot of us that was just. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, and because of him, you know, our organization is, I would say, tighter now, because we're not going to let this organization fail, you know, especially for him. You know?
Well, and you guys have helped the family.
Yes.
There was a GoFundMe page, which Amanda will put back up out on our stuff, which we talked about when all this happened, but you guys pretty quickly met the goal. And then raised the goal, which I thought was awesome. Right. And you're continuing to support the family. So how's the family doing, Leo?
The family they're moving forward. The parents came for a long period of time. Can't recall whether they're still here or not, or they went back home to Iraq. But it was from my perspective was that the family felt the love, the unconditional love that came not only from our side, but also from the local community, from the Jewish Community Alliance. That's where Eiffel used to work at, and that's how, in reality, that's just how we want to remember him as a positive person, as someone that had a huge impact in everyone's life, and whether you met him for a few weeks, months, or years, there was something that Eiffel had. So when something that he said to you at some point, whenever you talk to him, that created an impact on each of us.
And does the family need anything? Is there anything else that you guys are still doing for them? Is there anything the community can do for them?
Well, the GoFundMe is one of the ways that they can support, and I can also, you know, contact with the family.
Okay.
You know, just to see if there's any other special needs that they might have.
And you guys started out with veterans, but it's now kind of evolved into first responders as being a part of this as well, right?
It always has been about military and first responders.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. So the whole concept is just basically, and this is something that I share with many people years ago. It was the fact that this is the time, in a way, it is a good time to be a veteran because there are so many resources out there that you can utilize. However, there isn't much for the first responders, for the first responder community, for whether you're a firefighter or a police officer, and also the families as well. And that is that gap that we wanted to fill. It was let's not just take care of the veterans, but also there's the police officers that need the assistance. There's the firefighters. There's the families that need the assistance, because through it all, whether you were in the service or you overseas or you were serving here in the community, your family at some point felt that pain that struggle, because whatever you do outside, somehow, some way, you're gonna bring it home, and the people that whether it's your spouse, your kids, they're gonna feel that, and we wanted to make sure that it's just all family involved, and that happens to us. That happens a lot to a lot of us. Whenever we do the first side of the meetup at Villano, or we're the third side of the over in Hanna Park and in Jacksonville, kids come over, spouses come over. They just come. Some people decide to go surf. Some people decide they just want to go hang out and kick the ball or play volleyball, whatever the case. It's just we open it all for everyone to say, hey, here's an opportunity. There's one thing. Two things are going to happen. You're either going to get in the water, or you're going to strike a conversation with someone. And by striking a conversation with someone else, you're going to learn something. There's some type of networking that is going to happen in between that conversation, which at the end is a win-win.
Yeah. No, 100%. And that, it is, we're all in the water all the time, and we get that, right? But I mean, for me, if I don't get to go surfing every week to 10 days, my attitude starts to change, right? And I'll have this surf factor of, okay, I'm only going out if it's good. And then 10 days out, it's like, okay, that's close enough to good. I'll take that. I know it's horrible, but I just got to go get wet. I just got to go get in the water.
Yeah.
And I just feel a whole lot better after I've been in the water. So.
And it's not just so much the fact that, yes, our programs are water sports. However, what goes behind it, the conversations, the connections, the networking that happens. So it just so happened that the water, in this case, the ocean, happens to be the channel that's bringing us all together, and the results, we see it. We've been online we're coming up with our anniversary in April 17.
3 years?
3 years, and when we started, Josh, Rick, and myself, whenever we started this, for one, we didn't know what we were doing. We were just learning as we were moving. We were moving with emotions. We first started with surfing, then stand-up paddleboard, surfboard shaping, and then somewhere in there, we got introduced to Hawaiian outrigger canoeing by a local guy, Jamie Smythe. So he was the one that introduced us to the sport that, for one, is a team sport, which brought another way to handle, surfing, you're there by yourself. On the Hawaiian outrigger, you need the guy in the front, the girl in the back behind you. So it's a whole team. If you're not paddling and the right way, or the right angle, or the right sequence, you're not synchronized, that boat is not gonna move, and you're gonna get mad.
Yeah. So
you gotta put your pride and ego aside and say, blending as a team, because we gotta paddle this 8 miles, 10 in this case. We got this 50-mile ocean paddling coming up, so let's just get together as a team and just make it to the other side.
So when you're training for the 50-mile, how far are you normally going for training?
What do you mean?
Do you do like, okay, we're going to go do a 30-mile paddle today. We're going to go do a 20-mile paddle today.
Okay.
We're just going to paddle till 3 guys drop out.
Right. So our normal routine.
2 of the first 3.
Right.
Tapping out before I get on the boat.
I tap out moving the boat onto the
Our regular training consists of, right now. So we got the in the paddle group, we do have 2 seasons. We got the summer, the spring and summer season, which we just started. That's where our training, it goes from being twice, just like during the fall and the winter time, it goes to 3 times, sometimes 4 times official training. And what that training tells is just basically, we get in the water, we put in, usually it's our normal routine is just 8 miles. Sometimes we pick it up to 12, so sometimes we randomly say, hey, how about we go to Jacksonville and put the boat there and paddle all the way to Villano, just because. It's one of those things that sometimes we just come up with just some random ideas. Hey, let's go ahead and do it. I said, okay. Sometimes that paddle could be 13 miles. Sometimes that paddle could be 30 miles, 34 miles. I think there was last year that some of the guys said, hey, how about we just take the boat to Jacksonville and then paddle all the way back to Villano in the coastal. Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm out. Yeah, I'll be waiting. I'll meet you guys when you get back. So.
But the biggest thing is, while we're paddling and all that, I know that if I stop moving that blade, someone else is gonna get affected.
Yep.
So I know that the person in front of me, however many I have, the people in the back of me, I know that they need me as much as I need them.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, suck it up a little bit. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Continue paddling. We're going to make it there. It's going to take us a little bit of effort.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that pain that you're feeling, physical pain or whatever is going on, it's only momentary.
So I know you have to have multiple stories, but is there, and I don't need to know names and different things you went through, but somebody that showed up was really kind of tentative, and then all of a sudden it's just really gotten into the surfing, the paddleboard,
Yeah, I think.
and then now all of a sudden has become one of your biggest advocates with new people that show up.
So we have a gentleman. Yeah, I mean, I know he won't mind me saying his name because he's an incredible person. Ray Reeves.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually a homicide detective here in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
Great gentleman. I mean, beautiful family. And there was a time when he was going through some struggles.
Mm-hmm.
And, his wife is the one that told him about Task Force Hydro 1. He's like, hey, why don't you come over? Why don't you go over there and check it out? Because he was going down a dark hole fast. And he said, you know what, just to please you, I'm going to go. But I'm only going to spend maybe 20, 30 minutes, and I'm gone.
Mm-hmm.
And, he showed up to one of our stoking Saturdays. The sun was just gorgeous. The water just looked beautiful. Everybody was having a great time. And I think that was, over a year ago, right?
Yeah.
And now, he's one of our biggest advocates. He's I call on him when I need somebody who can, who's smart, articulate, that can say the things that I'm trying to say that I can't say right.
Yep.
I bring him with me. And
I don't believe that after this interview. I don't believe you're not articulate.
Well,
And there are many out there. There's a guy that his name is Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
So Tyler, he to make it all the way to where we keep the boat, he paddles on the outrigger. He drives an hour and a half one way.
That's dedication.
That is.
Yeah.
Because that guy, sometimes, we're early risers. Sometimes say, hey, let's put the boat, let's say 7 a.m., right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he gets up very early to make it to training. Not only he makes it in training on time, but also whenever the team gets there to get the boat ready, he already got it ready. So he drives, and that is because is that he found the connection that he was looking for, to the point where he's thinking about, well, I want to sell my house. I need to move closer to the ocean because here's where I found my community.
Mm-hmm.
If he drives an hour and a half one way, then once training is done, sometimes he walks around Villano looking for shells and shark teeth and all that, and then he is back out.
Yeah. So when you guys first started doing the Stoking Saturdays, how many people would show up, and then how many people do you have showing up now? I can't imagine. You guys got to have a pretty good crowd showing up.
Right. So we started initially was about 30 people, 25, 30 people. There has sometimes we had up to 100 people, and that's when we figured, okay, this is a little bit concerning because there's a lot of people that more than we can handle, and we realize that we have grown as an organization. So we're always looking, for volunteers.
Yep.
In any capacity that they can volunteer. We're always looking for sponsors because we are at a point now that we are moving to the next level, and that's how now the board of directors and all that, we brought key people to help us moving forward.
But for you and Ricky, isn't that kind of a fun thing to see just how far you've come in just 3 years and how many people you've helped, from two guys that looked at each other in the water and went, military.
It is.
Yeah.
It was good because, I went out on the second year is when I started tracking numbers, and we were 140 something for the year. On last year, we were on the 270 something. People that have cycled through the program, whether it was surfing, the clinics, paddle clinics, paddleboard, and all that. Just the amount of people that has come through the organization, cycled through it, and got a taste of it. Some of them stay. Some of them came, give it a try, and say, this might not be my thing, which is okay. At least we know that, hey, someone came here, gave it a try, and that person's still exploring options.
But it still has some connections within the community and veterans, right? Within the veteran community. And hey, I may not like to go surfing, or I don't want to do the paddle, but it gives them an opportunity to make those connections.
The thing is that, because at the end of the day, it's not about a water sport.
Mm-hmm.
It is about having a vehicle to be able to bring people together.
Yep.
I mean, we have talked about other options. For example, renting a boat on a weekend and going wake surfing.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about what we're calling Super Stoking Saturday. I know this. Hey, we're military people, man. We don't have cool names. We don't think that. That we're not that smart. But the intent behind that is, to go up to North Pier and use one of those campgrounds and show up on a Friday evening or Saturday morning. Hopefully, there's surf. People can go surf, but at the same time, down in in the inlet, where it's calm water, people can go paddle boarding, OC rigging, paddling. All kinds of different water sports. Yeah. Then in the afternoon, have a great barbecue, break bread, enjoy each other's, company. Those who want to stay. I'm definitely going to, camp out that night, and then we depart on Sunday. But it's not about the surfing, and it's not about the paddling. It's about bringing people together.
Yes.
And that's what we're trying to do. And it's sometimes it's a bit challenging for us because we're all volunteers. Nobody's getting a dime out of this. Well, except well-deserved our web designer, and our CPA, obviously, because, they're going to keep us out of trouble.
You got to pay those guys.
Yeah, they're going to keep us out of trouble,
Yes.
and they're doing amazing work for us.
You should see what I pay Amanda.
Amanda was talking about doing her contract again.
Don't give her any ideas. Don't give her any ideas.
She mentioned that earlier, so before you showed up, But anyways, no,
she mentions it to me too. Trust me.
So all kidding aside, and that's what we're trying to do. We want to, 5 years from now, what we envision is having our own headquarters by the water, where we have our own boats, where we have our own docks. It's good. We want it to look somewhat similar to what a VFW does, where, we show up, we have a bar, we have rooms, we have classrooms, we have offices. It's a one-stop shop that we would love to have.
You had me at water, but when you said bar, all of a sudden I'm like,
a juice bar.
A juice bar. That's okay. I'm good with that too.
Smoothies.
I'm good with that.
But then. If what we mean is that we definitely want to plant seeds of trees that we're not going to sit under the shade.
Yes.
And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a little bit concerned. I see what's going on in the world today. I see that there's a potential where the United States could be involved in some conflicts here in the very near future. Look what's going on in Ukraine. Look what's going on in Taiwan. Look how froggy some people are getting, So it could get to a point where we could be seen, not in Afghanistan, not in Iraq, because those were hard, but you weren't fighting a military force. For say like Russia, like those kind of armies, and we could potentially see that in the near future. So our veterans, our future veterans, are going to need us. Those of us that unfortunately can't go and fight anymore, which if they told me tomorrow, put on the uniform, go back, I'll be like, Roger that, with our sign. But, I'm so broke that body-wise that I don't know if they would. So what's the best next thing I can do?
Well, but I think that's I'm a history buff, right? As a history minor in college. And you look throughout time and as human beings, we haven't had long periods of peace. There's always somebody that decides to be a bad actor. There's always some country that decides to do something stupid. There's always somebody that looks and says, I want what they have, and I'm going to go take that. And then you decide, well, are we going to sit and watch that happen, or are we going to get involved in that? And America's gotten more and more involved in a lot of those things in my lifetime and in our lifetimes, right? And yeah, you do look at that and you just wonder how much longer until somebody does something really stupid and then we have to send people into a major battle or conflict again. So, I don't think any of us want to do that. But at the same time, you can't stand by and watch it happen, because if you do, it only gets worse for our children and our grandchildren. So.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
So
What we could do is at least set up an organization that can help those that are willing to make the ultimate sacrifice, because that's a big deal. I think people that are willing to make the ultimate sacrifice so we can be happy, so we can live free. That's a huge deal.
Well, and that's why my dad was in the Marine Corps. I never served, right? I don't think I could have been in the military from the ages of 18 till about 25. But after that, I probably could have done it, but I was married and had kids, right? And I was on my path towards a job, which I'm still in now. But I fully support and applaud all of the veteran service, the sacrifices that you guys have made. And that's why whenever we ever have veterans issues, like it's an open forum here. We'll move schedules and times and do whatever we have to do, because it's a little way that I can pay you guys back for the huge sacrifices that y'all have made. There's a saying out there. I mean, we have freedom of speech and we have this freedom and that freedom. We only have that because somebody was willing to die for that.
Yes.
And you are the guys that said, we're going to put our life on the line to die for that. And so great, hugely appreciative of that, of all of you guys. You just thank you.
Well, we truly appreciate it. And, so with all that said, if there's people out there that are wondering how they can support us, go to our website. We have an event coming up. You can either, sponsor a paddler by going to the event and going into sponsor a paddler, or you can, come and join the festivities, see how we enjoy ourselves, and buy a ticket or buy a table for our luau, which will be happening on the 11th of May 11th. Excuse me. See, I told you I don't know how to speak.
I think you did a phenomenal job. That's your first mistake, and you're 55 minutes in, 56 minutes. You did great. I messed up the first read, so you did fine. You're awesome. So we'll get that. We'll continue to plug that here. Obviously, Amanda and Louie, I think, are going to go. I think Darcy and I are actually in town that week. I got to check and make sure. Last year I was out of town, so I'm hoping I can come to that as well. Love to see you guys out there. And that was the venue for most of my high school dances. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. So
I'm going to have PTSD just walking in there. Right?
Are you going to go to the corner right away and get your drink and bring it
well, back then we weren't allowed to get a drink, right? You're just afraid you would have to dance. So,
so you're going to go against the wall?
I'll just go stand over there with all the other guys who don't want to dance. No,
I'll be there. Leo is actually a dancer. He actually wanted to go to Dancing with the Stars. Leo is light on his feet. I mean,
my
you
wife,
can't turn left, but
right. Well, there's a whole story why the reason why I don't surf, I don't go left when I surfing is because I was paralyzed. Actually, been paralyzed twice. One on my right side and then on my left side. So what I had, the problem that I have on my left side is, even though it's my dominant side, is I write with my left hand and all that, but whenever I do certain things, well, everything really is on my left side, is I have a delay. So when I'm about to get up on the board, by the time I want to turn left, I already it's just about the break. It's like, okay, I can't do it anymore. So it's like I hear, even when people talk to me, I hear you, but there's a delay there so it's hard for me to work around that.
Yeah, so it's funny because he'll even grab rail going backside. So it's not, but let me, do we have a second for a story? Because this guy right here. So I think you were just learning how to surf, right? Was it, so he didn't know yet the surf etiquette. He didn't know the rules. So there's this wave coming and it's a ride. I'm in the inside. I'm on the peak. So,
your wave.
Thank you.
Your wave. Yes, your wave.
Any doubt? Any doubt that's my wave?
No doubt at all.
Not at all. So I'm paddling and I see Leo. And Leo is looking at me. And this video, which is even funnier. And Leo's looking at me. So I'm like, okay. He's looking at me. He sees me.
Yes.
He sees me stand up on the board. He sees me starts to turn. And as I'm turning, he's looking at me and he still stands up. And takes off. Yeah. And looks at me like,
what are you doing?
Yeah.
That's my way.
and so then he paddles back out. And I don't know if he did this on purpose or he really didn't know. But he's like, That was my wave. I was like, how is that your wave when I'm already standing up, looking at you, going towards you? Yeah. Anyways, I had to get out of the wave. So.
Well, we all have friends that do that.
It's Snake.
I have a friend who he got a brand new board.
Hi, Tim.
And it's not Tim. This is Mark Mast, really good friend, great guy. But he got a brand new board, and I said, do me a favor. I don't need to see the front of the board. I don't need to see the top of the board. I don't see the bottom of the board. Just send me a picture of the tail. Because that's the only part of that board I'll ever see as you're dropping in front of me, right? So at least I'll recognize the board if you'll just send me the picture of the tail. Don't send me any other part of it. All the other guys in the text were laughing, right, at him because they're like, that's what Mark, God bless him, if I paddle for that left. If it's a left, I just go, do you really want that? Because I won't paddle if you're going to drop in on me anyway, right? The nicest guy in the world would give you the shirt and every bit of money in his wallet. But if that left comes in,
he's taking it.
He's taking it. You're just kidding.
Yeah, I have a couple friends like that. They're the greatest guys out that water, but they get in the water and they're greedy.
Well, and Tim O'Neill will stand out in his stand-up paddleboard and tell you, hey, there's a wave coming. I'm like, are you telling me because you're taking it? Or are you telling me I get this wave?
Right.
Are you telling me you're going to go left or right? I mean, we communicating here? What do I get out of this? So, yeah. No, it's all always kind of fun. We'll keep announcing this. We'll get you guys the dates. And I need to start plugging because you guys are back into missed the April 6th, which was last weekend, right, at the walkover. So I'll make sure we start announcing the Stoking Saturdays for you guys as well. And it was really nice to meet you.
Great meeting you. Absolutely.
Yeah. Hopefully I'm going to go surfing with you in Puerto Rico one day.
Let's do this.
That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Actually, I almost went to Puerto Rico. My wife's actually heading out tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost got on and left with her. But, somebody's got to take care of the Rhodesian Ridgeback and my Bazenji that we have.
Yeah.
So,
Beautiful dogs.
Oh, they're evil.
Yeah.
The little one is pure evil.
It's always the little one. Why is it always the little one?
It's always the little one.
It is, man.
Yes,
What is it with them? They got this attitude.
Napoleon complex.
There was a meme out on Instagram the other day, and it was somebody poking like a pit bull in the nose and giving a pit bull a bath, and the pit bull's just taking all of it. And then the next thing was doing the same thing to a Chihuahua. And the Chihuahua just going crazy, right? Trying to bite and snap at everything, and it's like, and people are afraid of pit bulls.
Yeah, it's funny. It's very funny.
Now, Leo, it's good to see you again.
Oh, thank you, Mike. Thank you for having us.
Amanda, thank you
Yeah.
so much.
And for those of you that watched and we were a little glitchy, Amanda's going to fix all that.
Yeah.
Rewatch the entire interview because Enrique and Leo were wonderful as always. Great cause. You guys support them. Hopefully, we'll see a lot of you out there at the Luau.
Yeah.
Amanda and I are
Everybody's
planning on being
welcome.
there.
I mean, go to the site if you guys want to see a great, Hawaiian evening. We're going to have hula dancers. We're going to have Hawaiian food. We're going to have a DJ, tiki torches and everything. It's just going to be a great atmosphere. I mean, last year was awesome.
It was awesome.
Yep, right, Amanda?
Yeah, it was fantastic.
So, and this year what we did is we made sure that we have more room, more space. So when we get I don't know if you saw the secondary hula dancers we had.
They were great.
Yeah, they were right, the guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we we got a little bit more space for them this year.
Yeah.
And
that was good.
also, we have a great speaker that day.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Rick, he is one of the founders for CAG, for Delta Force, and great guy, unbelievable career. He actually still is very active today. He works for GoRuck. I met him a couple of times, and I cannot stop picking his brain every time I see him because obviously Delta Force is for me is like I'm like always surprised. It's just unbelievable organization. So get to hear it firsthand.
And we get to see a Leo breakdance at the event.
Of
Yes.
course, of course.
So I heard that
Contemporary dancing. That's what he does.
I heard that you're a drummer though.
I am.
Yeah. So are you gonna drum?
No. I'm the best drummer in the world in my head by myself.
Yeah.
I do record music, but it's just for me. It's not.
Yeah.
I've actually never played in public, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well,
So-
people know. They were talking about it in the comments.
Oh, really? But about the drumming?
People were ratting you out. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here. Tune in tomorrow morning. The 904 Now Morning Show will be on. Tomorrow evening, we'll have Davey Hartzell sitting in. It's my first show with Davey like in a month. So Lord only knows what we're going to talk about. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye.